Some motherfuckers, they are playing the European Teams Championship right now. I think competition of countries of all Europe, with five players team, and they fight between to watch how was the best team in the best team country in Europe. And Ukraine have won of this first 7 round, have won six games and only one draw. So Ukraine was in the leaders. But Azerbaijan faced Ukraine in the 8th round of the tournament to try to be the leaders. So the rest of the game of the match ends in a draw, and we're going to see the decisive game of the match between Rauf Mamedov and Andrey Volokitin in the second ball of the match. Okay, let's analyze the game. It was so interesting and have a huge competition uh, importance between is in the first board of the championship. Okay, uh, Mamedov goes with e4. Volokitin defend with the Sicilian c5, knight f3, knight c6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, knight f6, knight c3, and Volokitin gains with the knight of Sicilian. Yesterday I saw was a game of Fabiano Caruana. No, sorry, of Caruana, of a third game. Sorry, the game of Caruana was other. A third game with with the move bishop b3 against the Sicilian, but Mamedov chose f4. Interesting game too. In Madrid, there is a player who used to play that, who is Carlos Ararcio, but I never play against him this position. I always against him I play e5, but I know that he plays f4 against najdorf. And okay, f4, interesting move. Now let's see how black can respond. Black have two principal moves. One was e5, was played in the game, was the most principal here and the most logical, and the other was e6, trying to go with to a dragon and dragon dwarf. Okay, after e6, maybe the strongest. We have two ways here to play. Or less quiet with bishop e3, bishop e2, and castle, more classical way, or more active with e5, more aggressive. e5, d takes e5, f takes e5, knight e4, and here e6, trying to take the bishop pair. Bishop e6, and here okay we can or play bishop e2, knight f6, take, and play the same game where black have a pawn but white have the bishop pair. The same game is also interesting to play. It's not clear. And the other possibility for white just take here with a more or less similar position. And then c3 blockading the knight. And for that reason, okay, this position there is not so much for white according to the machine, but can be a little bit unpleasant playing with this pawn extraction against the bishop pair enemy. So for that reason, the majority of the players choose e5, knight b3, knight c6, and here okay, white have many moves like bishop b2, or play like this, or bishop d3, but Mamedov chose a more aggressive way with f5. Okay, let's understand this move. This move is first blockading the latest square bishop and have a clear idea who is just attacking to the king state. And black should react in the center with b5, but if black didn't make nothing in the center, I'm going to attack you in the in the in the king state. Sorry. So in one moment with black, you should react in the center. So let's see how to continue. Okay, f5, bishop b7, normal move, developing, bishop d3, defending the e4 pawn, and the e4 square in for a possible d5 in one moment is not allowed after it takes d5 some e4s. So okay, bishop d3, good move, solid. And now black's normal reaction was castle, and here I like the move castle because with white it's not easy to find a move because black is coming now with d5 for example. You cannot play e4 attacking because black came in just in time to open the center. If you don't play d5 with black, of course you are worse because then d5 is coming and white is going to checkmate your king in the king side. So, but just d5 in time and black is fine here. Okay, castle also the option, just knight d4, taking the bishop. Or bishop g5, and now you're going to play your d5 or b5. Other of the ideas of knight before it just can play d5. And bishop b3 was the best continuation, b5, knight d5, and bishop b7 with a thick white. Okay, e6 is not bad, but I would prefer castle Until here, Mamedov was playing fast, and here he stopped to think half an hour, and he decided to play bishop d5, the best move. Okay, after d6, the knight f6, the knight on f6 is a little bit more weak, and this file can be a little bit more weak. So maybe okay, you are not going to eat this knight, but after a possible bishop takes f5, knight d5, and short castle, this bishop is going to be under pressure, and maybe the square f6 if you retire the bishop, I can place a pawn there. So the move bishop g5 pin this knight was also interesting, and here I see have less strength with the pawn on d6. G takes f5, he takes f5, and d5. Okay, now we reach a so complex position where black have the center, all the center. But what do I have instead of that? Okay, the problem of black is not going to have a safe square for his king. Because his king, if you go some castle, your king is going to be so exposed on the king side, and it's not easy for you to go to the queen side because you need to remove the queen and remove the bishop, and it's not so easy to do. Because specifically, if you go to d7, I can take you on f6 and then take on d5, and the king on d5 on the center, sorry, can be exposed after some sacrifices in the center. For the moment, no, because your central pawn defends well your king. But maybe after one possible sacrifice, the king in the center can be exposed. Okay, here Mamedov goes Castle. Queen d2 is other possible move. Take and rook d1, but Castle was fine. Rook g8. And here, again, Queen d2 was possible, but I really like the move played by Mamedov. Because the problem of Queen d2 is just the sacrifice. Rook takes d5, Queen takes bishop b7, and black plan was just move the queen to c7 or to b6, long castle, finally placing save the king, and then came with rook g8, and the central pawn now is going to be so strong. Because I told that in the past that the black central pawns are so strong, but the problem is his king. But now, if he can manage to play with c7 and long castle, his king is going to be safe, and now rook g8 is coming, and black have many compensation for the change. For example, rook 81 was bad because queen b6, king h1, and no castle. Here just a quiet move like bishop e8, and black is thanks to his central pawns. He controls also well the white pieces. King h1 here was the best move to avoid queen b6, queen c7, queen e7, no castle, queen h7, rook f8, queen e7, and h5, and yeah, the machine is equal, but I completely prefer black. Black have many contemplate here for the exchange. Okay, so I like the move employed by Mamedov, going back with the bishop h4. Here, Volokitin played b5, knight d4 was possible too. I'm going to show us a also interesting line after knight d4, which is more or less forces. Only the moves that I made here are more or less only moves. f6, bishop b4, queen e2, is of course impossible to find out this line over the board with both colors. Queen e4, bishop f5 is just a computer line to show us how some tactic of the position. Queen d7, a3, bishop f8 going back, knight d5, queen d5, rook d1, check, place the bishop on d4, take, and here with c3 look like white can defend the position. But the endgame of course was better for black because have a more active king. Especially the difference of this endgame is the king and the pawn structure that black have a pass pawn in center, and this d2 and h2 two pawns are so difficult to advance. So okay, b5, king h1 will move. And here comes the first mistake of the game. Until here, both players are playing 100% of precision game. They are playing perfectly. So bishop b7 was the first mistake of the game because allowed white to activate with bishop f6 and knight e5. The best move here was activate the rook via a7 and then rook d7 followed by rook d6. Interesting plan of three moves to travel with the rook from a8 to b6 to solidify the position. Interesting plan. Maybe now uh, black can play in one moment queen b6 and came with the game to a safety place. But yes, rook a7 was the best move. For example, queen e6 here, rook d6 the same, Yes, so interesting this plan of rook a7, rook d7, rook d6 was great. Instead of that, Volokitin played bishop b7, b7, trying to develop the pieces and goes long castle. The problem is the active move bishop f6, knight c5, rook a7, and now queen h5 was so strong for white. Now white is okay. Queen h7 is not a threat because rook h8 will trap the queen, but queen h6 in some moments can be unpleasant. 96 is coming too because this pawn is pinned, and now you are giving this square for the rook. So queen h5 is also active move. 97, and now rook d1 normal, pressing well the rook. Queen b6. Okay, here Mamedov played before who was fine, but queen e6 was stronger because if queen c5 just take the bishop and there's a knight on e4 and white is winning here, but just because the black king is also unsafe. I'm analyzing many games for YouTube, and in many games the thing was the same, the unsafety of one of the both kings. And before here, for example, knight c4, queen c6, c4, take, and that's why it is winning, but because just all the time was the black king who have no safe square. But okay, before was fine, just holding the position, e4, and now comes the what I mentioned in the previous part of the video. The problem of your king in the center is that in one moment it's going to gain a sacrifice in the center, open the position and win the game. And now this game, bang, knight takes e4, open the position in the center, and just Mamedov maybe he don't calculate so much, but he just understand that the no. And I saw the times, and he only spent like 20 seconds in this move. That means that he doesn't calculate anything. He just understands that the black central king needs to be open. That's so simple. If you go back with the bishop, there is no sense because now black have on the center and apart the knight, the c3 knight here hanging. So you should take on e4. Of course, when Mamedov plays before, he of course saw the move e4 because he's attacking two pieces. So the real good moves, the real sacrifice came here with b4, allowing your opponents to play e4. Takes bishop e4, and now white is simply winning. There is nothing concrete, but okay. Apart, yeah, there are some concrete things. White is attacking here. Yeah, white is attacking on b7. If you take just knight here, okay, I'm coming with rook d6. I'm coming with knight d6. It's impossible to defend everything. Your king is also exposed, but specifically is coming. Some two pieces is coming to d6, and you cannot defend it. And okay, rook g5 doesn't work because queen e7 just and okay, he tried to leave b7 with the bishop, but here just queen e6, very good move. The idea of queen e6 was simply knight e6 and take this bishop, covering the 6th rank and take this bishop. Rook d4, and now he made his idea. Knight e6, great move. F takes, queen f6. Now the white position is just win. The rook tries to come back, but now white recovered his pieces with bishop f3. Threatening bishop h5, very good move. Rook d7, trying to defend, but just stay here. Rook d1, queen f7. Rook d1, followed by queen e7, and it just checkmate in few moves. So I really like this game of game to place the camera right. I really like this game of Mamedov. He plays also active against the knight, and also accurately he plays all the good moves. And this game have a huge importance in the tournament because now after that victory, um, Azerbaijan chase Ukraine, and Azerbaijan now is in the top of the board. This morning is going to be the round of the tournament, so let's see if Azerbaijan takes the tournament thanks to this victory, or of if Ukraine can come back and finally won the European Team Championship. So nothing more to say. Tomorrow I'm going to show us maybe the best game of the last round of the European Team Championship. So nothing tomorrow. Bye bye.